fans out a little bit. That allows me to smoothly glide across the surface of the ball. Thank you to that one random Japanese lady on YouTube because this is the best feeling cup I've used so far. The ball is actually much smoother and it's starting to get round. I love this egg holder. It's so fast. Yeah, it's already pretty good. Round out these bits here and continue this process. Did that for over an hour plus. All is starting perfect. As you can tell, I'm saying that starting to look pretty round. To the tin foil ball. The next ball we got polished is the tin ball. This ball is a smaller version of this for a YouTube short before, and I found that once I started polishing, it started to crack. You're extremely careful not to rub it the wrong way. So this one I'm gonna wrap up just because. So my strategy here is I'm gonna sand down the ball using different strengths of sandpaper, eating grit, and looking at 320 it's gonna so I can shape it to be. It's gonna smooth out. I just found out a really good technique. I can curve one hand into a half sphere, which is sandpaper on top, and hold it on with the other hand and just rotate it like this. As I rotate, it's going to sand it down into a perfectly circular shape. It's almost like how we use the circular cup to shape down the dirt ball. Starting to look pretty good. Alright, time to upgrade our sandpaper. Now I'm going to 120 grit. Ooh, it's becoming shinier. Oh, it's shinier now. Look at this. The texture is still quite rough. It is shiny. 150 grit. 180 grit. 240 grit. We're getting closer to it becoming shiny. Look at it. Very shiny, but you can kind of see the rough lines of the sandpaper. As the sandpaper gets finer, these lines should disappear. We're about halfway through all of our sandpaper. This is making me think the polishing process for the tinfoil ball is probably going to be similar to the paper ball. So why don't we try sanding the paper ball right now? I don't want to start the paper ball after the other sandpaper because it's going to shave off too much. So we're going to start with 240. Big standard of anything. Ooh, you see the paper coming off immediately, and I feel the heat in my hands. The paper is shaving off a lot easier than the tinfoil. Oh yeah, the goal is perfectly round and shiny because those are the balls that sell for the most money. This process is working for the paper ball. Since I'm using the same sandpaper anyway, I'm just gonna sand these at the same time. And sanding by hand is almost impossible because these tiny little grooves I just can't get rid of. I need a little bit of help. I'm gonna use the big sander to grind this down. Alright, let's give this a try. Ooh, yeah, that's so much smoother. We just finished sanding every single ball. This is the third ball. Yeah, this was complete third. from the ground. Now it's perfectly round. This is the tinfoil ball, and we were able to shave off a lot of the imperfections on the surface here. Now we just gotta make it shine. And our last ball is a paper ball. I am the most proud of this one. Look how this turned out. You can't even see any paper bumps at all. And when you feel it, it's almost like a suede texture. It's very, very soft. Now that each ball is perfectly round, the final step is to make them shine. This is what will allow us to charge those high prices we see on eBay. In order to make the third ball shine, we're going to use egg holder to smooth out the surface again, but this time with oil. I'm going to add a bit of oil to the bottom of the egg holder. I think you could probably just use cooking oil, but I just have Pam. Alright. Yeah, this is really helping it shine. I like the texture it's creating. Look at that. It's already becoming shinier. Really, we just needed to oil up. Passionate balls here. The sound is so satisfying. After tossing the dribble of oil, each little pump started flying. I'm just gonna go in with some fine sand and patch it. I'm only patching it with very, very fine because anything else will create even more holes. Alright, after we sprinkled our dust, we're just gonna come back in and rub it back in. The only thing left to do now is just to fluff it out. We use a very fine cloth just to go over the surface of this ball and remove all the little specks of dirt. I'm going to continue with the two other balls and we'll be ready for the photo. Now, to make the tinfoil ball shine, we're going to need some help. We're going to use this electric sander. Because previously, our finest sandpaper was 320 grit, but this electric sander goes up to 2,000 grit. So it really creates a polished surface. When I touch this area here, it's much smoother than if I touch the hand sanded part. So I'm going to continue that for the rest of the ball. After an hour of standing with the electric sander, our tinfoil ball is starting to shine. To be rolled.